Okay, guys. Well, if you've come to the right place for the greatest ever showdown. I am so happy because the man who lost to us is here with us, and I must tell you, he has a lot of balls. He has a lot of guts to be with us. All right, Sayan does not have the same balls. All
I
right.
agree. I agree.
I'm kidding, guys. But anyways, the point is that India and South Africa are in the final of the T20 World Cup. It is the Maha Choker Showdown. All right, the chokers of the decade versus the chokers of all time. Right, it's that final, India versus South Africa, and I can't wait. Tomorrow is gonna be an absolute humdinger of a clash. First thoughts, Sayan Banerjee. Let me know.
Firstly, I'd like to say what a tournament. What a tournament India have had. Before this tournament started, I would not have given them a single chance for qualification into semis also. But what a team. Except for maybe like Kohli not firing a lot, hoping he saves it all for the final. And of course, we have our own woodwork in Shivam Dubey, whom we can do nothing about, but he's still there. Bumrah, what a player! What a player! He has got to be up there in the GOAT debate for sure. Kuldeep's had a brilliant tournament. Overall, I feel everything's working out well. Sky has performed in a knockout match. That's surprising. So yeah, going pretty well this time.
Sorry, Shay. Your thoughts, your initial thoughts on India, South Africa, the final, the big clash.
An absolutely fitting finale to what's been an interesting tournament, um, especially obviously considering everything that happened in the US. But it's been a good tournament overall. But I say a fitting finale because obviously it's been the two unbeaten sides, and for the first time in World Cup T20 World Cup history, we're going to have the winner being going throughout the tournament unbeaten, which is nice to see. So there could be no question marks about who's the best team in this competition. Unequivocally, the best team will win this competition because they're both going in unbeaten. I felt like England yesterday, if they sneaked in, the reality is they got waxed by Australia, they got beat by South Africa, and they obviously beat a lackluster West Indies on that day. But it wouldn't have felt they were the best team. I know obviously you would say the league doesn't lie, to coin a football phrase, but I really do feel between India and South Africa, we've got a fantastic team. It's a fantastic showdown between the two best teams, undoubtedly. And that's what I'm excited the most to see, really. Who's going to come out on top? I've got my opinions on that, but I guess we'll get to it later regarding predictions, Krishna.
Yep, I think it'll be interesting to see how both teams line up tomorrow. I don't expect any changes from both sides, to be honest. Um, Personally, for me, I think obviously, like you guys have said, both teams unbeaten. India, barring the one point they dropped against Canada because of the rain. They've just been sensational and they've held their nerves in tough moments. South Africa have been very scratchy, like especially in their wins leading up to the semi-final. But then in Afghanistan, against Afghanistan, I felt like they peaked at the right time. 56 all out, completely just blew away Afghanistan. When you thought Afghanistan would at least have some bit of a chance after that miraculous win over Bangladesh and Australia. So great, great, like you said, two fitting finalists, the two best teams of the tournament, undoubtedly. And what's interesting to me is both these sides, right, have been amazing, especially like their strength has been with the ball. Like if you see, both teams have played in New York, played in tough conditions, batted in tough conditions, right? And they managed to get over the line, especially in those tough moments, right? 115 against Nepal, like they almost lost to Netherlands, like 108 chasing, something like that. They held their nerve against England to win by 7 runs. They held their nerve against these guys. Was it West Indies, right? They held their nerve against West Indies in the quarterfinal, right? So it's very interesting to see how South Africa have done, and of course India have kind of had a very interesting tournament because they've relied heavily on Bumrah, they've relied heavily on Rohit, especially giving them starts, but it's not like they have been the only players. Arshdeep Singh has gotten wickets for them, right? Kuldeep has come in and taken wickets for them. You've got guys like Akshar Patel who've chipped in at right moments. Hardik Pandya has gotten runs. Surya Kumar has gotten runs. Rishabh Pant has gotten runs. So the only real question mark with India really has been two people, which has been Shivam Dube and Virat Kohli. Otherwise, everything else is looking like a well-oiled machine. So, interesting to see. I want to get into the big clash, the big final, right? I'm gonna start with you, Sayan. Okay, if you are India tomorrow, how do you plan to win this match? What is your strategy?
So firstly, I'd not depend on the toss because my only aim will be to take 10 wickets, no matter if I'm bowling first or bowling second.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel the pitch will be a little tacky and it will not be the batters who decide the game, but the bowlers who decide the game tomorrow.
Interesting.
So the only thing is get early wickets in the power play, hold the score in during the spin overs when Klaasen or let's say Markram is playing, and also in the death you got to be really well, except for the Bumrah overs. Um, if we concede a lot of runs because South Africa have a very potent bowling attack, Jansen, Rabada, um, you have Shamsi, so, and also the other thing will be Kohli must hold his wicket tomorrow because we don't want to be losing any early wickets against that South African team.
Right.
And
Right. I think.
So you're saying, Sayan, you would bat first?
personally, I wouldn't bat first. I'll chase.
Wow. Big call.
Okay.
Big call. I mean,
I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite. I think that the best. I would stick all the pressure on, because you're absolutely right, Sayan. This is there's brittleness in both batting lineups, especially the Proteas lineup. There's no doubt. You say about the people out of form in Dube and Kohli. I'd argue and say, well, who's in form in terms of a South African batting perspective? Who's really in form? Who's had a really stellar tournament? No one. You've had fits and starts. Do you know what I mean? So for me, if you put, obviously not in the wicket, but if it's reasonable, it's going to get maybe slower like Ghana did. 160, 170 in the board. All that pressure on the South African batting with that phenomenal bowling lineup of India, I'd be back in India all the way. Whereas chasing whatever they give in India against a quality South African bowling lineup, I'm not convinced. I think, it's going to be harder, I imagine. Also, you see the wicket tomorrow, but I feel like, I think defending a total, because of the way the sides match up, I think it's probably a better way to go. But I think India, obviously, on balance, are stronger in both departments, I would say. But, yeah.
so, I mean, I have some numbers for you guys. Average first inning score in Barbados, right? Since the game's happening in Barbados, is about 160 odd, right? So, if we look at the games that have happened in Barbados this tournament, right? Like, I think, barring the two USA games where they've gotten all out for 120 odd, the Australia-England game was a 200, 160 game. India played Afghanistan there. It was like a 180, 190 kind of game. So, I don't think this is going to be the kind of pitch we got in Guyana or the kind of pitch we got in, the Saint Grenadines with Afghanistan and Bangladesh. So you will have a minimum, I think, a 170 kind of game, right? Whoever bats first. My personal opinion, I think India, whoever wins the toss should bat first, and whoever wins the toss and if they're able to get above 170, 180, the team batting second will struggle. We know South Africa is susceptible in chases. They struggled against West Indies. They struggled against Netherlands, right? They had a tough time chasing this year. So, and even India also, when they chased against USA, they struggled a little bit. So both teams have struggled a little bit in whatever chasing games they've gotten this tournament. So I would look to bat first as well. Another thing I would do is that whoever, obviously, if I have to look at both teams, like on paper, I think the bowling is almost like equal. Like there's nothing to really pick between the two sides, because both sides have the most all-round bowling in the tournament. I can't really pick one bowling side over the other. Maybe Jasprit Bumrah just because of the X factor, but really not much to pick. But if I look at the batting, right, India's batting, I would say, is slightly better because of the fact that South Africa's batting as a unit has not really come to the party. You've had a 50 odd from Quinton de Kock. You've had a 30 odd from him. Heinrich Klaasen has gotten runs in patches, right? Miller's gotten runs in patches. And you have Tristan Stubbs also. You have guys like Jansen at the end to finish. So it's not really been a stellar tournament for South Africa's batters, So my personal take is whoever
Well,
bats.
it's those USA pitches, right? I mean, Clarkson came out saying how he said they're adapt and just adapt or perish and go at 6, 7 and over rather than 10s and 12s. And that's interesting as well. They both obviously play a majority of the games in the US, isn't it? In the group stage, obviously, in particular, obviously in the US. So that obviously does skew the figures a little bit in terms of the batting numbers, because obviously they've said they've been fairly poor, but a 50 you could say equivalent is to an 80 in the West Indies during the group stage. You know, with the amount of runs on aggregate level being scored, you're winning games of 120 on the board in the US.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. I think you're right. They've not clicked as a unit. That's a very good point, Krishna.
Yeah.
You haven't clicked as a unit. The only time they clicked, really, everything put into place was the semi-final, because they annihilated obviously Afghanistan on that first innings, completely shell-shocked them, and then all the momentum was with heads down for Afghanistan. Momentum's all with SA, and then they go and obviously pump him. But Reza Hendricks, they've been calling for his head for about 4 games now.
Yeah.
And he's just the kind of guy. If you just put your money on a Kohli, who's also been woefully out of form, or a De Kock or a Hendricks to come to the party in the final, your money's going to be on Kohli. Be honest. Who's the man for the big occasion? It's not going to De Kock. It ain't De Kock. And it's sure as shit ain't Reza Hendricks. So, Dubé, I agree. That there's a weak link. That's the one weak link. But you know what? Amongst in 20 overs only, you can afford a weak link. You afford one guy to fail in it. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fitting final. It's a great. Also, what's nice about it, they haven't played each other yet. It's the first time they're facing God. It's a fantastic final, man. You play the way the tour progressed. I mean, India basically just besieged everyone, to lay them all to waste, isn't it, during the whole tournament, pretty much. The only one was a bit tricky. Yes, the US, okay, they were in the chase, but
Pakistan.
the Australia game. Pakistan, but for me, Australia could have potentially won that. At times I thought, okay, Australia can come back into this, because they had the kind of the grit about them.
Yeah.
But South Africa, maybe you said, like you said before, they may be peaking at the right time. But everyone who ultimately, has been their way, they've defeated. So it's a great final, man. Honestly, I can't wait. But I'm still with India to win it, but you could easily see Proteas. But I think you also need to play upon that as well. The monkey on their back. I follow the Proteas fans a lot online. They are desperate for that, kind of first major tournament victory. They've won nothing. They've never won a World Cup at any note, right? Never won a major IC trophy.
First final ever.
The first final ever, right? So they've got there so close so many times, and I think that pressure. What I think is, will that pressure play on them tomorrow in crucial moments? That's what I would say, because you know what, Kohli, Pandya, Jadeja, these mans have been here. They've been and done it. When you call IPL, whatever, they've done it at the highest level. But like someone like a Tristan Stops, a Reza Hendricks, even a Clarkson, who has never played a game at this kind of magnitude, will he shit the bed tomorrow? We don't know. We don't know how it's going to affect them. But that pressure, you got the pressure of 2 billion people watching India. And I know, like Christian, people like you are desperate. Your whole nation desperate to win. But I don't feel like the pressure internally is like that, because they've won stuff before. With South Africa, never. And I wonder tomorrow if that will play a part. We'll have to see. I just hope we don't get some one-sided shitty final. We don't get some shit. We get a competitive game.
Like the IPL final.
But true, yeah. But you look at that, because they shit the bed. All these quality players shit the bed. Ultimately, the guys who got them there, who go over IPL now, but all the youngsters, Abhishek Sharma, Nitish Kumar Reddy,
Markram, Klaasen, Janssen, all Sunrise.
all of them flopped. Klaasen also flopped. You guys may not know this. The SA20 final this year, Durban Supergiants, my team, he completely fucking flopped in the final. That's 2 finals in a row, 2 major finals. One was obviously in Cape Town, one was in India. But he flopped both times. But he flopped both times. So Klaasen might be this wonderful player, but he's had 2 major finals in the past 6 months, and he's shut the bed in both. Stubbs, Miller's out of form. Apart from one knock, he's out of form. I wonder psychologically. I just hope South Africa can, they just remain robust in their mindset. That's all I ask for. I just want them to play to close to the best of their ability. To do that, we'll have a competitive match. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Strong words from Shay there. Sayan, actually, I want to ask you, like, regarding again, I just want to kind of wrap up on the strategy part. Um, do you feel okay? If you were the captain tomorrow, you want to bowl first, right? So if you would bowl, that's assuming you bowl first, right? What kind of score, either side, whichever side you are, whether you're India or South Africa, which like what score would you look to kind of restrict the opposition under to give yourselves a chance to win the game?
I think around 160 to 170. I hopefully want to restrict them because then it's a fair shot at the target. Because if it exceeds 180 and it moves into the 200 range, then it's as good as game's gone right there.
Yeah, fair. Also, I think batting first has had more success. I think in 30 T20s, there's been 19 wins for batting first and 11 for about batting second. So, batting first, I would agree 100% with Shay. You win the toss, bat first, put the 170, 180 on the board, and defend. I think that's the strategy for both teams. I also want to actually just touch upon one point. South Africa in history, like whenever they faced India, they've always struggled against India's spinners and mainly India's wrist spinners, right? Kuldeep Yadav has always troubled South Africa. Jadeja got 5 wickets against South Africa in the ODI World Cup, right? That happened last year. I just feel that if there's a trump card that India can play in the middle overs, especially, right, it would be the spinners. But yeah, go ahead, Shay.
So what's the question? The trumpet called the spinners in the middle.
Yeah, the spinners. Would South Africa struggle against India spinners, basically? That's the point.
I mean, Miller's seen these guys time and time over the last 10, 12 years. So he's fairly accustomed to them. Clarkson obviously is a decent player of spinning. We know that. Shame Chahal's not playing. Yeah, maybe he could have got a few runs to the middle. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think that middle order spin period is somewhere where maybe the game could be won or lost. And I wonder what the tactics will be to negate that, really, because the problem you've got is you're not going to basically hit Bumrah. Wherever you try, you're not going to smack Bumrah around. He'll go for 20, 25 overs 4. So you're down to 16 overs. And this is the problem England faced yesterday. First of all, some stupid shot making, but there's no one really could target. There was no real weak link. The one guy was Hardik Pandya. But he didn't even bowl his full latte 4 overs, did he? I'm not going to lie to you. I turned it off. I turned that pile of shit off. After the fourth week went down, I said, enough of this shit. The game's over. Do you know what I mean? I told you guys in the group, as soon as Salt went, I switched off. The game was done. I knew it was done. There had to be something monumental. But anyway, back to South Africa. They've got, obviously, let's see what they do with the batting order as well, where they move people up and down. Because I'm not convinced that Stubbs is the right person at middle. If they do suffer early wickets, which could easily happen against that opening pair, I'm not convinced that Stubbs is the guy. Stubbs may need to go early. And they keep Miller back, Miller and Clarkson back potentially. First of all, as finishers, but also as players who can play that spin better than, say, a Tristan Stubbs. You can't go off the IPL this year. That was an anomaly. Those wickets are, were just built to, wow, the crowds are 260s plus all that bullshit. It's not the same. I think I would probably be holding Miller back, actually, if I think about it. I will, along with Clarkson, at maybe 5 and 6.
Which
as you know, some right.
Markham should
definitely,
most of the deliveries, yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to put Markham at 3. Maybe Stubbs, maybe Stubbs at 4. Depends how we don't know how the game's going to turn out, but I do believe in kind of need to remain flexible. South Africa compared to what to the game situation. Listen, if South Africa 120 for no wicket after 11 overs, by all means shove Clarkson in there at 3, whatever, moving up and down. But on the base of yesterday, obviously it won't be just spitting cobra as yesterday was. That wicket was perfect, paradise for Indian seamen, the spinners, paradise, man. I don't think we'll see such a predominant term for these guys tomorrow, but I don't see a weak in Yardev, Axar, and Shadeja. I see 12 overs of pretty miserly bowling. And I wonder who they're going to. Let's target someone because Bumry not going to get away, like I said before. So if you're Rob Walter, who's the one you go after? Because you don't have to play. You don't have to bowl hard in Pandya for 4 overs. You don't have to do that. You ain't got to do it. Because with Arshdeep there, you can bowl 1-2 overs. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough going. That's why I'm saying if I was India, I'm absolutely batting first. Absolutely batting first. Get runs on board, scoreboard pressure, and then see what happens.
I think one of the big talking points is Quinton de Kock. Obviously, like whether Quinton de Kock, if South Africa are to make that 170 odd, obviously it's the battle between South Africa's middle order versus India's spin. That is one point. Second thing is, will Quinton de Kock fall to Bumrah or Arshdeep? Right? If he falls early, I think South Africa is really going to struggle. Whether they bat first or bat second, I think Quinton de Kock getting out in the power play is a big loss. I don't see South Africa. It's going to be very difficult for South Africa to recover from that and put up a 160 if they bat first, or even chase down a 160 odd if India make that much in the first inning. So again, like I think the match really, for me, the match will be decided by how South Africa's middle order negotiates India's spin. That's my take. But again, like you said, Barbados is probably not going to turn as much as Guyana did.
I'll be shocked if they can't make runs tomorrow. I'll be shocked. That man is don't be fooled by that one knock. He is woefully out of form. He has been absolutely fucking horrendous for 7 months now, that wanker. I can't stand the guy. Anyway, absolutely shite in the BBL when he skipped the India series to rob Melbourne Renegades. But, a bunch of low scores there. SA20 for my franchise, DSG, Derma Super Giants. Again, absolute bag of warm shite. Terrible. Then he goes over to the IPL for Lucknow. Once again, awful. Fucking horrendous. And he's been poor in this competition. I honestly believe he don't give a shit anymore. He's lost his mojo. He doesn't really care. I hope we never see him again, actually, at this tournament. I don't give a shit what he scores. I hope we never see him again. I'll be, don't be surprised at all if he's gone the first 2 overs to Kock. Don't be surprised.
Yeah. No, I definitely think India's going to get him out in the power play.
I have no doubt. I'll be if he makes a 30 or 40, I'll be shocked. Yeah. It'd be fantastic for South Africa, but I'll be shocked. I think they'll be losing at least 1 wicket, if not 2 wickets in the power play.
I think both the openers will go. Riza and
definitely. Yeah. Then they rely on a Miller and a Clarkson and a Stubbs and a Markram, and then they'll probably rely on some kind of lusty blows from Jansen down the order. Some shit like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to India's batting. Obviously, the big weak link. Sayan, I want to go to you with this one. The big weak link, of course, besides Shivam Dube, is the king himself, Virat Kohli, has averaging about 10 runs in this series, striking at about 100. He's been trying to go for it. He hasn't really connected in a way he would like or we would like as Indian fans in this tournament. Nokia, Rabada, Jansen to start with against Virat Kohli. Is the king gonna finally wake up?
I'll never doubt Virat Kohli in my life after seeing, like, he has come clutch for India in moments when no one else has stood up. I think even though he has had 5-6 games of dry spell, but I'll never give up on that man. Like, I know if India's in trouble, I know he'll rescue us. Right till now, India has not been in that much trouble, to be honest. Rohit has been bailing us out. Sky has been bailing us out. What if both of them get out tomorrow? I see a Virat Kohli coming in clutch tomorrow. The king will roar back.
Strong words there. I think it'll be very interesting to see how India negotiates the first 6 overs of South Africa's quicks. I don't know whether I genuinely don't know whether they will trouble India, whether Rohit Sharma will find his wicket to a Nokia, to a Rabada, to a Jansen. Maybe it's possible. Jansen has troubled Kohli. We know that in the IPL. We know Nokia.
I think Rabada will be gunning for Kohli tomorrow.
Yeah. That's but I think more than Kohli, I think Rohit's wicket is probably the big fish. If Rohit is out in the power play, I think that's
definitely
huge one.
That's the one I'd be after. Rohit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Rabada, I don't know who's going to get Rohit out though. I don't know if Nokia is going to do it. Also, let's be like that Afghanistan pitch was very, very favorable to the South African Quicks. I mean, it was just moving all over the place. So, I mean, let's put that also into consideration when we take those figures of and South Africa's Quicks into consideration. But
Yeah,
again,
but but the same thing yesterday, man. That it just was set up for India's bowlers.
yeah,
Let's not get into the whole scheduling and all that in India's favour, because that's another conversation altogether. You can't, there has been a little bit. I understand. I mean, but it's been a little bit unfair. I'm
That's
not trying to sit sour grapes, but
that's fair.
there has been a little bit of assistance from IC/BCI to BCI to help India with this one. They knew what they were playing the whole time before weeks ago.
100%, 100%. I mean, that's again a different conversation altogether. But again,
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah.
yeah. But still,
So,
I
we have
do.
to respect South Africa's performance against Afghanistan, just like we're respecting his performance against England. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, also I mean, you can also say right the spin friendly track helped Akshar Patel get 3 wickets. So I mean that conversation obviously is kind of, you can't have that conversation without having that favorability. So anyways, but of course I think my question is India. I think India's top order will play South Africa's quicks better than South Africa's middle order will negotiate India's spin. That's my
That's true.
that's
That's
my
very true.
that's I think that is the real contention point. That's where I think the match will be won or lost, genuinely speaking.
Do you feel that Mirage and Shamsi can trouble India's middle order?
Not
No.
with Pant and Dubey around. I don't think so. I mean, if Dubey, see the thing is, if for Dubey to click, and we know Dubey can click against Maharaj and Shamsi, if he has to click, the only chance of him clicking is against Shamsi and Maharaj. That's just.
Fair enough.
But
fair.
okay, forget Dubey.
Because
Pant
Shamsi's
and
been on
Surya
fire.
will take them down.
Shamsi's been-
Pant and Surya will take them down.
Oh yeah, your Pansu, yeah, Hardik. I think we are
Let's see.
negotiating.
Let's revisit that conversation tomorrow, Sunday night, innit? Because I'm not as convinced. Shamsi's been bowling beautifully.
He's been
He's
amazing.
got reintroduced into the team.
He's been
Been
amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Been fantastic, Shamsi. We'll see. It's a battle of the left-arm Chinamans, right? Kuldeep and Shamsi.
Yeah. But only thing is,
So,
only thing is, India has negotiated Shamsi really well in the past whenever he's played against India. So I just don't know if Shamsi is going to be such a massive threat to India as he's been to the other teams. That's my only reason. Whereas we know
That's fair.
that there's a proven record of South Africa struggling against Kuldeep. So that's the only reason. But again, yes, Shamsi, if he somehow manages to find a way to trouble Kohli, to trouble Surya Kumar, to trouble Pant, then you have a whole other dimension of that game opening up. But I don't see that happening, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so moving on to potential changes for the two sides. Sayan, I want to start with you.
Okay, so personal bias, of course. I probably put in a Rinku Singh in place of Shivam Dubey. I'm not gonna lie.
Had to come out.
listen, man, the teams don't change, man. That's it. Simple as that.
Yeah, otherwise I think same
The teams
thing.
won't change.
See,
How are you going to change it?
I mean, I mean, obviously teams will be unchanged. We know that. But see, my thing is, I want to find a way to play Chahal. And if I have to find a way to play Chahal, either I have to drop one of the spinners. You can't drop Akshar after a man of the match. You can't drop Kuldeep. You can't drop Jadeja because he's your best fielder, and you want that experience going in.
Actually, you can drop Jadeja.
Well, if you had to, but again, the problem with bringing in Chahal over Jadeja is that you lose a batter. That's one thing. Second thing is that you really need. Yeah, go ahead.
You potentially don't lose a batter. You lose a batter who makes like
Oh,
10
come
of
on,
10.
dude.
Come
16
on.
off 9 in the last inning. He finished the innings for India.
One innings out of how many?
Dude, how many balls has he gotten to bat? How many balls has he gotten?
Bro, his batting is shit in
He's gotten
T20.
nothing, dude. He's gotten nothing this whole tournament to bat.
No, I'm talking about throughout his T20I career. His batting has been pretty
I
trash.
mean, that way you can say Virat Kohli's entire career has been batting really well, but just this tournament he's been shit. So, but Virat Kohli is the greatest. You can say that. It's the same argument, like just invert it. But I mean,
Yeah, okay, whatever.
but I think the point is, the only reason why I would have had Chahal in there is because Kuldeep and Chahal in tandem to Markram, Klaasen, Janssen,
No chance.
whoever's in the middle order. I think that is game over. But I think with Kuldeep, Akshar and Jadeja, is it enough? I definitely think so. I don't think you need a Chahal there. That's one question. But if you had to bring Chahal in, I would do this really weird thing of getting Chahal in place of Dubey, and just play with the 7 batsmen. Like I would do if I had to. If I had to accommodate Chahal, I would do that. But I don't see any other change. The whole Jaiswal at opening with Kohli at 3 thing, it's too late. I don't. If they had to do it, they should have done it against USA or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
You know. So
Right now, I think no changes are the best.
yeah. If Shay, I want to ask you this actually. So in a final, right? In a final, usually the team that surprises the opposition ends up winning the final. Usually, if you look at any final, there's always been some like surprising decision or like decision that really goes against what cricket logic and cricket punditry is, right? Somebody just come out of the woodworks and done something, usually in a final. If that is to happen tomorrow for an India, for a South Africa, what kind of decision do you see there?
In respect of like a play performance?
Yeah, if like there's an outrageous call to be made, like okay, for example, Dhoni in 2011 came up the order and batted at 5, right?
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, so there needs to be like usually there's some outrageous or like surprise element in a final, usually, right? What is that surprise element do you foresee tomorrow?
Think about it, man. What's God.
Okay, it's okay. You don't have to answer. It's fine. If you don't have an answer, that's fine.
I don't already have an answer, but I'm trying to think what funky. I think maybe something funky with the bowling could happen.
Mm-hmm.
You could see a starring role with like Markram with the ball.
Yeah.
Something odd like that. Maybe you're gonna. I think Janssen may surprise us with the bat. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I do believe South Africa could be in trouble, and they might need him to rescue them a little bit. I have this feeling. I don't know. I've got a bad feeling for South Africa, but I don't think South Africa will just scrape by this game and win it fairly convincingly if they do win the game. But somewhat Janssen or Mark, kind of off the cuff. In terms of changes, for me personally, if I was being honest, I would have dropped Reza for Rickleton. But now Reza's made runs last game, but under very little pressure, chasing 56. Apart from that, he's been absolutely dog shit awful. But Rickleton should have played a long time ago in this tournament. But that he didn't play for political reasons, so I'm against that now. So that's the reason I would have made, legitimately, that would have justified a change in the side. I wouldn't think about Gerald Coetzee, none of that. I think a bowling attack, he's got a lovely variety to it.
What about Bartman? Would you get Bartman in?
No, there's no way of dropping. I don't see where Bartman would fit. The only person you would drop is maybe Nokia and bring in Rabada.
But he just had
maybe
match, basically. Yeah, you can't drop him now.
Nokia for Bartman. Nokia's the guy, though. If I were India, I'm targeting him. I think he can go for 50 off his 4.
Yeah.
He's the one guy I think can get tapped. But same with Janssen. He's also kind of guy who can go.
Right.
It's funny. We say it's a team of two solid bowling lineups. Yeah, I think about India and I think shit. Who do you target in that side apart from Hardik? But I look at the front 5 South African team: Mirage, Shamsi, Rabada, Nokia, and Janssen. I feel like you can get after the 2 spinners, as you both said. Plus, I think Nokia and Janssen can both go.
Yeah.
They can both sail.
Yeah.
The one guy I'm looking to is Rabada. He has to do well tomorrow. He has to perform tomorrow.
Right.
He's got your Sky, your Kohli, Rohit. I'm looking to Rabada to make serious dents in that power play. Unless before, maybe we'll see something funky like the which game was it where Rabada bowled at the end? 2 games ago.
Was against
Rabada.
England against England, right?
Was it against England? Was it England though?
I think so. They were defending 25.
It wasn't England. No. You can't. No. That was yeah.
Oh no, USA against USA maybe.
Was it USA?
Yeah, probably USA maybe. Okay, I'm not sure.
No, it was West Indies. West Indies.
Ah.
West Indies game, and Markram bowled up top, and he got Russell right. He got Puss out. You got Jay Push, your man. So you got rid of him. I'm sure he really pussed, didn't he? And then he reborn a ball right to the end. You gave him like 6 bowler. So it's maybe something funky like that, but you know. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I've got to go now, guys. So I'm just here.
Okay.
Um,
Before we
I've
go,
got to
guys,
shoot.
who's winning tomorrow? Very quickly.
Come on. India.
India. Okay. Shay.
Yeah, I have to go with the shirt rather than the cap today. Yeah.
India. Man, I don't know.
India.
I hate answering this question myself. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I
Bro,
think
it's easy.
I think India, but maybe South Africa, maybe. Like,
Not
but if I have to give it a percentage, I think genuinely I feel 55-45 India, South Africa. Because reason I give South Africa 45 is because of the way they've played across the tournament and the fact that luck has been on their side. So that's the only reason. But anyways, we don't know.
Well, it's Battle of the Chokers. We'll see.
Battle of the Chokers, we'll see. Yeah. But good talking to you, Sayan. Thanks to Shay for stepping on. I had to unfortunately leave before we could finally wrap up. Before we leave, Sayan, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Banerjee FR on Instagram
Banerjee FR, guys. Go.
and Jaffa Merchant on Twitter.
Jaffa Merchant Twitter has the funniest tweets. Go check him out, guys. Shay, you can find him on Uneven Bounce on both YouTube and Instagram. And I am very happy that he's on Instagram because I was able to tag him in my reel. And he said to me that, we're going to do you guys, England's going to beat you guys, we're going to do 2022 repeat. And then I answered him back with that rap. So, and now he's feeling a little upset. So it's great to see. But that is the show, guys. All the best to India, all the best to South Africa. May the best team win. But of course, the heart bleeds for this. The heart bleeds for this. So take care. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Subscribe to Cricket Krishna. See you.